Hi, folks. Today, our conversation is regarding very disturbing and alarming news that came on BBC. And it is about this big media racket, the fake media racket that was operating out of Delhi, India, with a group named Srivastav Group. And they created this news media racket, and they've been operating for the last 15 years, going completely unnoticed. um, the purpose of that fake media racket was to create hatred about Pakistan, to spread the rumors about Pakistan, to create all kind of bad impressions of human rights atrocities and every other possible, you know, bad impressions that they could create about Pakistan at the world level. Um, when you go into the detail of this story, it has been published on BBC, and I will have the link of that story in my description. This whole media racket, which is called Indian Chronicles, it was pretty expanded. It was very detailed. They had about 750 fake media outlets, and they've been operating and spreading the global disinformation campaign. They've been running this campaign of disinformation to serve Indian interests and to discredit Pakistan for the last 15 years. So this investigation was carried out by the European Union Disinfo Lab, and they actually, when they started looking into the details, they found layers and layers of fake media. It's been done with so much sophistication that one would believe that it's not just a matter of, and I'm just quoting it, from the one of the director of the EU Disinfo Lab, and his quote is, "You need more than few computers to plan and sustain such an action." And the funny thing is that the world media is not actually bringing it up. I have watched other media other than BBC that it actually came up. Other media outlets, some of the big media outlets in the world, they are not bringing it up. I mean, I would expect the Indian media to, the way how irresponsible and fake they are, one would expect that, okay, Indian media is not going to bring it up. Although I think that there are some sane voices in India who should actually talk about it, but that understandable. They're not going to talk about it. They're scared. There could be mob lynching to them or something, which is kind of a norm in India right now. But other than that, the whole world is not talking about it. So I thought, okay, I'll do my part and I will just send out my message. And it's not that I'm actually talking about it. It's on the BBC News. It has been released by the EU Disinfo Lab, and the whole news is out there. They were so sophisticated. This racket, I'm calling it a racket. They call it a fake media organization. It was linked to a Delhi-based, about 265 Indian pro-Indian websites were launched and operated from 65 different countries in the world. And when the EU Disinfo Lab went into the detail, they found out all 265 of these websites were linked to one group, which is called Srivastav Group, which had its shown its headquarters somewhere in Delhi. And as fake that they were, their headquarters was also fake, because when they tried to contact the headquarters of that place, it's just an empty place and there was nobody there. They talked to one of the neighbor, and the neighbor said, "I've been here for 40 years and I've seen that this place is really empty, and nobody lives there, and sometimes I see some people coming in, but other than that, this is a completely empty and abandoned place." So this fake Srivastava group not only created this whole 265 sites. If I can just tell you, they create fake NGOs. These NGOs has direct connections, and they made their connections and registrations into United Nations. United Nations accepted these fake NGOs, and United Nations had them supported. One would ask that what is the criteria of United Nations to register some such fake NGOs. They had think tanks. They had, some of the think tanks were created. All fake think tanks, by the way. They just created those think tanks out of thin air and just published their reports. And they have EU, European Union Chronicles, and using this news outlets, fake websites, think tanks, NGOs. They had a member of European Parliaments, a few members of European Parliaments were arranged to go and meet Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi and to tell them that what kind of service they are doing to India, how they are discrediting Pakistan, and how they are upholding the cause of India disinformation around the world against Pakistan. And then when you look at their sophistication, actually mentioned, they faked out some of the news media outlets in the rest of the world. Most of them are in United States. I'm reading some of them. You have Atlanta Leader, you have Tampa Star. These are the newspapers, by the way. These are the name of the newspapers, fake newspapers that these people have created, and people just ingested them as if they are real newspaper. Vancouver Star, uh, Toronto Telegraph, St. Louis Star. There was a Times, Kansas City Post, Denver Sun, Dallas Sun, Houston Mirror, Las Vegas Herald, Dublin News, Beijing Bulletin, Baltimore Star. I like you keep on going. There are so many. Paris Guardian. They make these news outlets out of nowhere. They're all fake, completely fake news websites, and they were promoting the cause of hatred and disinformation against Pakistan, and supporting the disinformation cause of India. When they actually looked into the detail, they said that they were definitively attributing some of the Indian chronicles these actions. Uh, there were specific actors of such Indian intelligence services, and one would think that yes, such a detailed, extensive fake news media racket with 265 different websites operated out of 65 different countries. Number of media outlets, fake media outlets were created, and number of NGOs, the defunct NGOs, ghost NGOs were created, ghost think tanks were created, ghost sessions were created. I'm going to get to that. One would think that it is pretty sophisticated. It's not just few people actually sitting on their computer and trying to do it. They have had, definitely a big support. I'm not sure if it's at state level, but they must have a big support somewhere in India. Now then, there was another, a next level law which they have come up. There was a father of international human rights, Professor Louis B. Shawn. Louis B. Shawn is it's actually his real name is Louis B. Son. But what they did is that this fake news media, it was a faculty member for 39 years, and but this fake news media, Indian Chronicle, had done that. They said that Professor Louis B. John attended a United Nations Human Rights Commission session in 2007, and where he actually talked about the human rights, and he talked about how Pakistan is bad in human rights and how good India is in human rights. And then they had a separate event where they claim that Professor Louis Bichon also went there in Washington in 2011 and gave a speech about human rights and the bad human rights situation in Pakistan. Interesting thing is that Professor Louis Bichon was dead back in 2006. He died at the age of 92 back in 2006. But these fake think tanks, these ghost think tanks, news NGOs, and these fake news media outlets had Professor Louis Bichon actually alive in 2007 and then in 2011 and talking into these events. The interesting thing is that their data then fed into ANI agency, which is supposed to be one of the biggest news media agency in India, that has their bureaus in more than 50 different locations or 90 different locations in India. And ANI actually bought all this fake data, all this fake news, and they were propagating it through ANI. so that they could actually make it look like legit, that okay, wow, it is coming from ANI, so definitely, this is a big deal. But this is all completely fake, and ANI just simply bought their information, and then this information will flow into the mainstream media in India. So mainstream Indian media will actually take it up and propagate that there is a UNHRC session. Professor Louis Bichon actually talked there, and he actually talked about how bad the situation of human rights in Pakistan. And those member of European parliaments, that these fake think tanks and NGOs, they arrange their visit to Narendra Modi. Most of them, when BBC has it up there, that when they tried to reach out to them, they were not answering their questions. Of course, they're not going to answer. Of course, they know that it's all fake. Most of the people, that when they reached out, they were told that we were given the money, and we were asked to pose up as a fake person, and bring up some of the fake news about the human rights situations in Pakistan. This is this is actually very, very extensive. There is no way that one could really cover it. But the interesting thing is that the Srivastav group, which is behind it, this Srivastav group is actually linked to Indian Institute of Non-Aligned Studies and New Delhi Times, right? They are next to each other, and they are all out there in that at that hacking spot, and working together to create this disinformation. And they've been creating it for the last 15 years, going completely unnoticed. United Nations completely bought it. European Union completely bought it. Their European Union member of parliaments actually bought it. All these fake information, and they started acting on the fake and going to the highest level in meeting with the Indian prime ministers. That is telling us that how much the fake information is out there, and how do these sophisticated fake people work through this new computing age, where people actually buy what anybody says on the social media, or any news that actually comes, that looks, tomorrow you can make something Mississauga Herald, or you can make something like New Jersey top news, something like that, and spread that disinformation out. Nobody is going to check about it. Nobody is going to look into this thing. So now, thankfully, European Union Disinfo Lab looked into it. They did a great job. They did a phenomenal job, actually, and it's all out there on the BBC. I'll have the link in there. I think it's time for the people to speak about it. I think it's time for the Pakistani media, which is sleeping there and not bringing up this fake information and media discrediting and disinformation out there to the rest of the people and rest of the world. Al Jazeera News, there are some big news outlets, CNN. I don't know why they are not bringing it up. I think they have their, own interests, and their most of these interests are actually tied economically. And I can understand that when economics come, all the truth goes away, and people will do anything for the sake of their economies, and for the sake of money. But we, as the citizen, we owe ourselves this duty, that we should bring up the truth out. I did mine. If you like this video, please subscribe, and give me your comment, and let me know. I will have this description of this news, which has been broken on BBC last couple of days. I'll have that link in my description. Click on it, go to the BBC News, read for yourself what's going on. Thank you.